Hi, Leo. All right, Merry Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. Holiday time. Lots of holidays. Yeah, welcome to this place. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. I'm Raaji, and that's what my dream told me to use for a name here. It means happiness is a choice, but you already know that, right? Leos to me are always fire signs. You guys are so positive. But the thing is you're also human, and this life is not all peaches and cream all the time, right? We deal with all kinds of things since you existed in this physical body. And I know some really amazing, awesome things happen this year, but I also know that there's been some hard stuff too, right? No doubt on that. No doubt, dude. On both ends. No doubt, dude. But I wanted to mention, you're recorded on the same day as Aries. And now I'm seeing Scorpio. So Mars is in Cancer right now. It's I don't want to get too much off track. The point of the story is that in ways of, if you're wanting, because it seems to be that there's some shadow work in this time frame, or we're reaching a new stage of I like to call it sanding. And then we do our sacred sweeping after we do all the sanding. But either way, Aries reading talked a lot about emotion and how to deal with it as a fire sign specifically. You are a fire sign also. If you want another layer there, I highly suggest that we even cried in that reading, which usually, again, it's hard for fire to cry because you just burn it off before it happens. But when something's steamy like that, we just keep the steam inside, and it can kind of get moldy, So we want to air it out, which is talking about how we feel. It's processing it mentally, right? Going to therapy, whatever. Because then once we do all that, then we can start, I heard, reacting differently physically to situations. So it's because that's the unconscious, right? All right, Leo. What's your first card? Mercury and Gemini. All right, so right now Mercury is actually in Sag, in its opposite energy. I just got so nauseous. Hold on. That was weird. Felt like everything was heavy. I don't want this either. That was weird. It's like my body instantly was like, dude, this is what you need to do to get more comfortable. This is uncomfortable. You thought that all those layers were comfortable, and they were when I was outside. When I was over there. But I'm not over there anymore. I'm in here. It's warm. It's comfortable. It's okay. It's okay. Mercury's also retrograde this month. So I feel like it's common knowledge now, but make sure you reread anything. Take your time with communication. It can sometimes be hard, although it's a trying to you. It's sometimes hard to keep on track a little bit when Mercury's in Sag. It's like there's too many ideas, or there's too many things sort of going on, and that's a bit of what Aries talked about. I guess we can mention it, like your job as the sun is to light the whole world, But what gives you your power is a question. You know, or what's draining your light, perhaps, draining your energy. And as we're moving forward, most of us are in the northern hemisphere, closer to the Arctic, so it's becoming darker and colder, and there's less and less light, right? We're coming closer to the solstice. It's where we actually come to a point where we start having more shadow than we do light, and it stays that way for a couple months, right? So for a season, basically. So your job is also right now is to take care of yourself, and when possible have others take care of you. There's also a project that some of you are working on. That's really cool. This could have to do with something that happens more. I'm actually seeing when Mercury is in Gemini is like a time frame that you could find when it's a good time to do something. I'm also seeing like February, June, and then September. Let's see what this is about. Or I'd like to, what's the, hold on. Okay, so the next step in your path, again, has to do with some project or trying something new. And I'm seeing like a projector onto a wall, like so many things happened before even this stage happened. So someone's farther along. They can now show something to somebody, or something is now able to be shared. Okay. What's your hindrance right now? Time to spare, stop. Oh, so somebody may feel like they need to get it all done right now. My boyfriend likes to call it completism. You have time to spare. Stop. But I guess if this is your hindrance, you may feel like, no, I don't have time to spare. I can't stop. There's so much to do. It's the end of the year. Like, and I saw someone dealing with like business things or like in a building, like, but you do have time, because you know what, if you don't take care of yourself, which, remember, the I like to see the well, I can't, how can you remember if I haven't told you if I haven't shared something? Let me share something. I'm not the only one, but I like the perspective that the body, which is our vessel of existence in this life, holding our essence, is made up of many things. It's our physical body, yes, that there's the physical vessel. It's our emotional body. That's 70% of us is water within that vessel, right? There's our mental health, and then of course spiritually. And to me, I like to visualize them like tires on a car. It's like if they all need the right amount within them to hold them steady, hold them up off the ground so they can go, so it can move smoothly, you know. And usually when it's hot, there's more of it within it without it even having to create it. It just happens to be there. But when it's cold, when there's less light, you know, it loses it. It can become a little bit flat feeling. So what I see, what do you do that's relaxing, that helps? Like, what do you do when you forget about time? When you forget about, you stop thinking about your job. You stop thinking about your boyfriend or whoever you want to date. Or you stop thinking about that loved one that died. You just, the thing that is, like, I heard incessant at times, because that shifts too, right? I'm seeing when someone shifts gears, it's like shifting through memories, like shifting into different interesting reading, Leo. I heard again, you have to take care of yourself. Scorpio talked a lot about that in their reading, being kind to their own body. You know, because even if when we don't have a home, when we don't have food in that moment, right? And even when we hate ourselves, like mentally, and like are mad at ourselves emotionally, the spiritual space is always there. But it's how, like, feeling loved, because the creator is love, right? But with the South Node going through Virgo, it's been really hard. It's like draining. It's kind of like when the monk questions his whole existence. You know, the thing that a person has dedicated themselves to for so long, ultimately and definitely, where they even let go of all these physical things, all these material desires or whatever. And it's just because they wanted to feel full in these other ways. But it's as if a person's questioning that, or they, again, something, one of them just feels flat. Someone's got a flat tire. Huh. What's favorable to you right now? Okay. The moon in Aries. Moving. Someone has so many emotions, but they're like afraid of them. But we asked what's favorable, because this, to me, this is the Tower card. So well, I guess your recent move, there was a big change in home. Or like, this could be a big change in family. What's favorable is the Tower. Hold on a second. This is like one of those things where it's like someone dies. You know when someone dies and you go to the funeral and you end up seeing all these people and like connecting with them again because of this, like, because of this bad thing, if you will, or this really hard thing that you can't change. All these sort of positive things happen, and it like opens up these doors. Just a sec. So it's not a blessing. It's not a blessing in disguise. But that's kind of what's favorable. This is also maybe like getting upset with something is favorable. Because Moon in Aries is, okay, I feel as a person, I feel I am, but it's almost as if a person's feelings are really changing. They're really changing, or a person is changing really who they are, or they just, something that's happened outside. Sometimes the tower is external, but it's connected, right? And it's like those kinds of things have happened, and it really changes who you are. And I do see that environment specifically changes you. And we said that that's favorable. So maybe some of you will just like decide just like that, where you're like, actually some of you could burn a bridge if you want to. Should you? If you're in the process, if you're processing something where you're like, I'm just gonna be extreme about this. Like, again, where if you made a decision, you couldn't go back from it. Then maybe a person would want to like take a little vacation, get away for the weekend, go stay with a friend, go stay with a family member. I don't know. Go rent a hotel room and just, but like go to another, environment again changes you. That's the positive of it. And I almost feel as if some of you, like your parent, you have children around, or your spouse, or like there's other people, because I sense that life is good. You have time. You have, let me back up. When's the last time you ever go back to your childhood home? It's almost as if like somebody's house burns down. That's what's favorable. Again, it's something like that. So a really hard thing is really good for you. Really good for a person. Now, I'm assuming this is you, this is your reading, but if for some reason this has to do with somebody else, then they need a break, and or like say this is your spouse or something. It's like, they've been, because what I'm seeing is a person that's been busy, they've been doing a lot, and it's just like, again, it says you have time to spare. You're already through, like 2/3 through the way of something. You have time to spare. Please stop. And then you're supposed to take a break. Take space from something. You're supposed to take space from something. What are you taking space from? That doesn't mean you have less of something in the positive. I need to emphasize that. There's also a smoker that you know that's favorable. What is it? Okay, it said we had to take space or something. The next section is actually what do you actually have to let go of or disregard? Let's see. Leo, I wanted to call you Aries. Saturn and Capricorn. Both. I guess this is taking a step back from trying to be responsible for everybody. You cannot be the only one that holds it all together, Leo. I guess some of you could consider changing your job, or at very least you need a break. Somebody might need a break. That could be what's favorable, is that someone actually is burnt out, which Aries talked about. It's like if there's a space where you feel burnt, it's like, dude, somebody needs a break. They don't want to break it, like shatter it. It's not that kind of break. It's space. It's space. This could also be letting go of, it's interesting, I saw letting go of responsibility, because Saturn in Capricorn is like, I'm going to handle, again, everything. I'm going to handle everything. I have so much to handle. I can't step away. I can't step away. And it's like, because someone actually could feel like, well, if I step away, everything I heard that is in my corner is going to fall away. It'll all fall apart. It'll just fall apart. If I'm not there, I'm not. So we could be talking about codependency. Because that gets into martyrdom, right? Like, oh, well, if I don't, because it would be best for me, then everything's going to fall apart. But I think someone's missing the part of the sentence where it's like, no, this would be best for me to take a break. I heard, and I saw a sign, closed for the holidays. It's like, it's fine. But someone might be like, oh, but you can make so much money over the holidays. And it's just like, what are you talking about? Like, I want to feel better. And then I saw death in the family. You know, it's like that kind of thing. It's like, so if you don't take the break, then something like that will come in that's really big for somebody. Or someone's dealing with this again in the undercurrent in their regular, I heard, everyday life grieving, right? Because we all do. And again, Aries talked a lot about this, like the building up of energy and things that are residual, Saturn and Cancer. Yeah. Because you know what? It would actually behoove you to start more of something, like get back in, and I saw someone sitting in a seat and then putting it back in gear in January. So some of you really, because you get Saturn and Sag too, it's like, and that's what's hindering you, is you're like, no, I can't stop right now, but like then it's the new year, and it's like someone keeps putting, it's almost like they know, they're like, I'm tired, or like this is too much, or but it's like every time they realize that if they even realize that they could stop, it's like the next thing is already there. Oh, it's the new year. Oh, it's spring. Oh, it's so there's excuses for things. I mean, I heard they're legitimate, but that still doesn't. Because again, if someone doesn't take, I heard if someone doesn't take care of themselves, then someone also becomes like emotionally irrational too. Right? Because Moon in Aries is kind of Mars in Cancer. It's basically the same thing, and that's what's happening in the sky. So there's like this building of energy, right? There's a lot of acid in the stomach, Mars and Cancer. It's more acidic kind of energy. And again, that's internal and it's emotional is what we're talking about. This is Cancer's place, the chest and the breast and the stomach, right? So some of you may need to eat better too, or your diet is changing. That could be part of the actually, some of you could quit smoking or quit a habit too. Because with Jupiter and Gemini, it's going to want us to breathe more, like big breaths. But even that, like, was short-winded. But it's hard because Mercury and Sag is on the other side, like always going out. But what goes out is carbon. Is it carbon dioxide? Is that what they call it? What goes out is poison. And the other side is like trying to breathe it in, but it knows that it's poisonous. So that would also show, I guess, that someone needs to be around more trees to exchange energy with it so that they can, maybe some of you need to go like camping or something like that. Like, when's the last time you went camping? You know, slept in the middle of, you know, I heard you didn't have much. See the attitude to cultivate to close this out, or what's, or an advice, last advice. Usually in spring or early summer. Jupiter and Gemini, interesting. So this is emphasizing that some of you have to take, I heard, a fucking break in December. You have to. A break from, take space from something. And to do that, you may have to do that one particular thing that you know you need to do. You may also need to take a break from other things also in relation to that, because I don't sense that it's a completely, I need to be alone or isolated and not connected to other people. That's not the point. I saw the North Node in the 7th house. Other people are very much a part of this, and there's a lot of support around that. Because it's almost as if someone's putting so much on their plate that they're not paying attention to other basic things that they really should. And you actually have a lot of Saturnian energy here. You have the most Saturn, Saturnine, which is kind of gloomy, right? Saturn is a little gloomy. He also just went direct, and he definitely, I feel like we have to heed the wisdom of Saturn. Saturn is time, Saturn is our bodies, life and death, right? Saturn holds the boundary between the interpersonal and outer personal worlds, these metaphysical and physical dimensions. It's a lot of responsibility. Again, I heard you cannot hold everything together. You know, because I saw, this is one of those things where I saw the example where someone was like, I can't leave this situation like they're going to kill themselves. Like, I can't leave, like, the how are they going to treat the kids? It's just like, because what is being wanted or suggested here is nothing more than, I heard, the basics of taking care of oneself. And someone's thighs and their knees. When Mercury's in Sag right now, which is the opposite energy. When Mercury moves into Capricorn is also what the first stage is. So I think you have to take a break between now and then. Let's see. I'll do some homework for you. Just a second. What day are we on? We're already on December 7th. Not yet. Mercury. Hold on. January 8th. Mercury moves into Capricorn. Yep. So right about Armenian Christmas. That's kind of funny because I have a timeline around that too, where I was picking that up on for myself. That's interesting that that's coming through. All right, so there's something. I heard complete non-engagement. Or there's something you're supposed to, again, disengage from, so that Venus and Leo, we can love, 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 found again. Moon and Leo. So you become more of yourself, because right now you're in Saturn and Capricorn energy. That's, those are tougher places for you, Leo. And actually remember that in the sky, Saturn is in Aquarius. Right now it's in the water that the water bearer is pouring out. It's like in the water. Saturn is in the water. So it's making like heavy emotion. You know? Again, it can make it feel like flat, like but we're also like pouring it out. We're letting out that heavy energy, which, mind you, Saturn in Aquarius, even though it's a home place, is such heavy, and you have double Mercury here, like a book ending. It's like, it's heavy lifting mentally. And so a person may just also be feeling foggy, you know, but I think that's because they're tired. Or that's what it's showing me, tired of something. And if you don't worry about the project, don't worry about your job, don't worry about your relationship, don't, and I know this seems too harsh to be like, don't. It sounds like a scolding. But I guess we're doing that out of fear, because there is a little bit of that attached to that. If I, again, separated, like, if I changed this, how else is, because they know that, like, if they change this one thing, it kind of starts a mechanism of shifting. You know, like, okay, well, if I change this, then that changes that, and then that changes this, and it almost seems like too much. And so maybe some of you just want to sit with yourself quietly. If the message is, well, take it as you may, but like, I'm seeing where to sit quietly with yourself. Maybe you want to write about it. I don't know. And I think a part of it is like going over what has happened this year. Again, I see, please go to Aries reading for help with that. and then also what you are wanting to be doing next year. But it's not like I'm going to take some quiet time to plan out my whole future ultimately. It's, I want to take some quiet time to be here and now to make sure that the vehicle and these points that are getting me from, that are helping me to get from A to B all work functionally. So maybe some of you just need, in addition, like need a new car, or that's just some way to get from here to there. Huh. Alright, I guess that's that. Interesting reading, Leo. I hope this was helpful. I wonder how many Leos are patient enough to go all the way through the reading. I said that to myself when before Aries reading. I was like, oh, they're fire. Like, I gotta pre-pick the cards so that we can like get to it. But the reading still ended up being for like 38 minutes, just like yours, which is an 11, so I'm cool with it. But same thing with you, like, because again, we're on the corner of a season. We're on the end of a year. We are, you know, it's a turning point. Because I'm almost seeing where, again, someone's afraid that if they stop something, that all it's like if they step away from the machine, if you will, then it'll just stop functioning. But it's like, no, you built that machine, so it'll function fine without you. It's not going to fall apart. When was the last time Saturn was in Aries? That also has to do, that's like a missing link to, oh, that makes sense. We were talking about all this Capricorn energy, all this Saturnian energy. We've been talking about Aries, so again, that's a very important, I can't emphasize enough to please watch that reading. I'll link it down below. Alright, I love you so much. Merry Christmas. And thank you, well, for showing up and wanting to learn and making the world a better place and creating the art that you do and taking the brave steps. See you in the new year.